Hello, this is Jedi Master Daniel 96, and in today's video, I am joined by two special guests. And introduce yourselves.
Well, I guess I could start. I am Nick of the AT Chat, just fellow Star Wars fan hanging out today with the Jedi Master Daniel 96 and Wedge Antilles, the real Wedge.
Yeah, it's true. It's me, Dennis Lawson.
Yeah, we have Dennis Lawson on set.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Can't wait to talk about all this stuff today.
Welcome, man, and looking forward to this. So, in today's video, we will be discussing what's from the original Thrawn trilogy from the Star Wars Legends timeline, which was, the original expanded universe. What could be adapted into the new canon? So, what do you guys think could be adapted from the original Thrawn trilogy into the new canon?
Well, since I'm probably the least knowledgeable now, since I've read that so many years ago, the one thing I can think of is at least that insane Jedi Master Sabaoth. I keep thinking about this and how it would be interesting for at least something along those lines to be another foe for the Mandalorian and his team when potentially facing Thrawn, or even something Ahsoka faces as she's searching for Thrawn, as hinted. So we'll see.
Awesome. You want to go, Wedge?
This one's a little bit crazy, and it's probably going to be really outdated soon. But you know how for the High Republic, the start of it is this big incident, like this hyperspace incident. What if it sucks up a bunch of Republic warships and sends them off somewhere, similar to how Katana Fleet just jumped into hyperspace and got lost for hundreds of years, and Ezra and Thrawn had found it by accident when they were taken by the Purrgil, and then Thrawn is going to use those ships.
So would Thrawn have those ships now in imprisoned Ezra, maybe, and is like sort of above Moff Gideon at this point with that fleet at his hand?
Exactly. Like he's basically rebuilding a new empire. And I think it's also related to those clones and stuff. I think he's trying to clone himself an army like he did in the novels.
And we did see, some cloning in that one episode of The Mandalorian as well. And, wonder, could we see even it tie in more with Palpatine being cloned in The Rise of Skywalker and the Snoke cloning as well?
Mm-hmm.
I have a feeling at first I was like, there's no way that episode in the Mando with the tanks, there's no way this is all linked. I don't know. It's too easy. And now I'm like, oh, nope, I'm wrong. I think this is all very connected. Mm-hmm. So Wedge, I'm just like, yeah, I'm on your side of this theory. It makes sense because the other thing too is we were talking about this in a different chat earlier. That Thrawn kind of informed the Imperial remnants on how to get to the unknown regions too.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I just feel like it's all very connected now. The fact that he was name dropped, it just feels like the Katana Fleet, all that stuff in some form is going to be re-envisioned just to make sense in existing canon. So nothing contradicts anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
The Purrgil, though, imagine those in live action.
Oh
my god,
amazing!
Yeah, I agree. That would be kind of something. I wonder how much they'd have the budget to put them in live action.
Yeah, that'd be nuts. If they did too, I bet they'd be like, well, it has to be practical, so they'd have to have a volume the size of the White House.
Yeah, and another one I'd like to see from the Thrawn trilogy, I think would be a nice addition, is Talon Card for the more criminal underworld smuggler stuff.
Oh, can you let me actually type that in? This is what I mean when I'm I don't remember too much from that original trilogy besides some of the just basic stuff. Can you give me a brief overview of him one more time? It'll probably click
Talon
again.
Card is some smuggler guy.
He's one of the top smugglers. He's a Jabba the Hutt level smuggler.
Oh, right, okay. Now I'm just I'm cruising Wikipedia right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? It would be nice to get some more of these smuggler types, just in a general sense for Star Wars.
Yeah,
something like that in here would be great.
Yeah, because was kind of one of the original tones of the Mandalorian, like the underworld stuff.
Well, it was supposed to be. I figured that's what the whole original intent of it was like a re-envisioning of George Lucas's like underworld that never came to be or something.
Yeah, because I
That
think
makes sense.
because Talon Card would be I always thought he would be a nice addition to the Mandalorian, and I just think
Yeah,
with that, criminal underworld, like he could appear in those kind of episodes with him and Din cross paths and all.
So
And
here's a question: if this is for you guys because you'll know better than I would. Let's say Card is in this. So I'm looking. It's 9 ABY, so this aligns perfectly, right?
Mm-hmm.
As long as they don't skip 5 years, I guess. But then it doesn't really matter. But this makes me wonder: do you think the side story with Card and Luke Skywalker could happen? Because now Luke Skywalker is part of the narrative potentially in all these shows. So it'd be interesting. Like, imagine we find out that Luke Skywalker's, I'm reading this now, like stranded in deep space with Grogu.
Oh, and then, that would be kind of something.
Yeah, because it's saying here, this is all what I forgot. It's all like he's avoiding being captured by Thrawn. So it'd be interesting to see all the things you guys are saying, Card, and like there's some of that coming back to like just to see Thrawn actually after Luke Skywalker to bring him back into the fold. It makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that could be more where we see Luke come back and Grogu come back.
Yeah, imagine. Although I'm not sure how it would go over if Luke Skywalker was captured. We'll find out. We've seen him deal with droids, so
true.
Besides Ezra, I don't think I don't remember, or because that's new canon. But in the original trilogy, it's pretty much the original Thrawn trilogy. It's just Sabayoth and Luke, right? That's like the only people he really has contended with.
Yeah, Thrawn. And then the Luke clone as well.
Oh yeah, Luke.
Yeah, because I know, because in one of the comics they show some figure grabbing Luke's lightsaber after Empire, the blue Skywalker lightsaber. Mm-hmm. And I haven't seen much that they expanded upon that. Do you think the Luke clone could work? Maybe it could tie in more to how Maz Kanata gets more into possession of Luke's old lightsaber.
Oh wow, I didn't even think of
gets
that.
handed down to Rey.
There's so much stuff that still needs to be explained.
Yeah, like that's one thing, because that was even glossed over in the sequel trilogy in Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. How does Maz Kanata get, Luke and Anakin's old lightsaber, which, eventually becomes Rey's?
It makes sense.
Imagine like the Mandalorian or like an Ahsoka chapter called A Story for Another Time.
Oh,
and then
yeah.
And then it's just the whole episode is just that guy at Bespin catching it and like whatever the hell happens. Like I wasn't really keeping up with most of those, so I'm assuming what you guys are saying is that it literally dropped after that thread once he caught it.
Yeah, like it happened. Yeah, because that's what I read. Because remember, I haven't kept up on that new mainline Star Wars comic series, and I remember seeing it, and I had to get it because I wanted to see, that lightsaber get captured. And it doesn't, and I don't think I didn't see any ramblings on the internet talking about it.
No, it's just like everybody was like, mysterious figure captures lightsaber.
Yeah, and then it was pretty much, it was just a throwaway.
I think it's setting up for something.
Yeah, I could see that. And funny enough, part of me almost looked like Mara Jade in a way. I mean, because I know around like The Force Awakens, I was on that Rey Skywalker camp, and I felt, if Rey's a Skywalker, which technically, she's a Palpatine now, as we've seen all the movies, but around that time I was thinking, could they include Mara Jade in the new canon? And then I was kind of even thinking about it post Last Jedi about incorporating Mara Jade, and I thought like maybe like she dies at the massacre, and I felt like that could give more depth to Luke's arc in The Last Jedi. And the people that probably weren't,
that is a great way to give him more weight for people that had a tough time with it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Like bringing Mara Jade, getting killed at the massacre at Luke's temple.
Like because I even look at that.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say like that's what like maybe he sees when he looks at Ben and his future. He sees Ben like killing his sister, killing Han, killing Mara Jade, even though that's not what was going to happen. That was just Palpatine putting those images in his head.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what I like about
That-
that too is I didn't when I first read the Thrawn trilogy, the old one. I guess a lot of people find Mara Jade annoying, but I didn't. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like, I don't mind it. It wasn't annoying to me at
Yeah.
all. And what I like
True,
about
like-
that too is like Luke at that time is beyond necessarily like the super strict rules of the PT Jedi.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, in the last episode, he's not on the dark side or anything in the Mandalorian, but like he's willing to use techniques that are questionable and maybe considered irresponsible use of the Force, you know, with a Force crush. Maybe that's the way I interpreted some of it. Like Luke is sort of not a dark side at all, but like he doesn't fear at this point in time going outside of the restrictions of the Order. So I think him
Yeah.
having a love or something that becomes an attachment would be kind of fascinating
Mhm.
for me to see again.
Yeah,
And,
I
you know?
agree. Go ahead.
oh yeah, Jedi Master Dan, you go.
Okay, yeah. The thing is, we had with Luke, yeah, because that was the thing. Because I even thought, you know, because even with Kylo Ren's Legends counterpart, Jason Solo, he kills Mara Jade in Legacy of the Force, and I was thinking maybe could Ben Solo do the same thing? Because this was even like that post Force Awakens, pre Last Jedi, even speculated that, and then even nowadays, I think it could still come into play. Because as you said, it could bring Luke, you know, much more to you know, give him much more depth to his character in The Last Jedi. And then, as you said, the people that had a tough time with his arc in The Last Jedi, they'll be like, oh, now I get it, why he was so bitter, you know, and as we see him in The Last Jedi, you know, it would just all...
Yeah, we're gonna get the Clone
I think-
Wars thing with the PT where like the context is key once it's all there, if
Yeah.
that's what they do.
True, like, yeah, I could see that, like, you know, like the Mandalorian could establish it, like the Ahsoka show, maybe it could all, like, you know, because maybe these Disney Plus shows is becoming this more like MCU-like
Seems
sort
like
of
it.
continuity, a continuity. Sorry, I couldn't speak there.
Continuity.
But, yeah, yeah. Sorry, that was like a little bit of a tongue twister, but
No, it's fine.
yeah, like I was thinking about maybe the next animated show after the Bad Batch should be, you know, maybe like this like era, maybe it could be like called Star Wars New Republic, and it could have like the Clone Wars' format of storytelling. Like you could see, you know, Luke rebuilding the Jedi, the new, you know, like you could have Thrawn be leading the what's left of the Empire at that time, and Mandalorian will bring it in. That could be like this crossover.
I'm here
Maybe,
for that kind of stuff. I would love it. I think it's desperately needed at this point.
Yeah,
Like at least for the way things wrapped up. Like, well, it's just one of those things where anything these shows can do, like, again, as a fan of these movies, like, why not flesh it out and make it make sense for other people that just were like, I don't know.
yeah.
It seems like the most honest takes about these movies without the hyperbole surrounding it is mostly just like, it didn't make sense, kind of, and like that's like really. And like that is kind of honest. If you think about it, a lot of things kind of didn't. Like in hindsight now, the whole thing. So I just want to see us not be afraid to be like, well, all right, but we can make this okay. Which is fine, you know.
Yeah,
why
because
not
that's the
mind some of that
thing.
EU stuff.
Yeah, because that's the thing with the Clone War. Yes, you know, with the Clone War, you said about the Clone War. How people always say about the Clone Wars for the prequels, they could do something similar like that with the shows like The Mandalorian, maybe the Ahsoka show, maybe this good idea, like a hypothetical show of called like New Republic. I mean, you already have Rangers of the New Republic that could flesh it out more.
Yeah, that
we could see like
I'm so
Thrawn
curious.
and characters like that there. I mean, Ahsoka's show is a pretty much, I think, a guarantee Thrawn will eventually show up. No.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that is the fabled sequel to Rebels. That's what I'm assuming it is. So
I think, yeah, because I don't know how long the Bad Batch will go on, which that's pretty much almost like Clone Wars 2.0.
Yeah, but thank God it has that animation.
Yeah.
That's funny. I wasn't like too into those first 4 episodes. Like I like the first 4 episodes more than the middle ones. Not for like the reasons the internet had, but just for my own. I was like, it's like Ninja Turtles. But then when I saw the trailer for that, for the like just the Bad Batch, it was like so well done that I was like, yep, I'm gonna watch this. I don't care. So,
yeah, it looks like it could be some, but I feel like I wouldn't be surprised. I think it could maybe be like Rebels long or Resistance long, maybe, and then maybe eventually down the line we see something that in that era between episode 6 and 7, and I think maybe we'll see a Thrawn sort of thing, because I think I wouldn't be surprised if Thrawn is actually the big bad in The Mandalorian.
Yeah, well, it seems like he's going to end up being the big bad in like what I'm calling the pocket sequel trilogy. Like The Mandalorian is like the sequel trilogy before the sequel trilogy now, kind of.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Pre-sequel.
I don't know. It's like like these are like the prequels to the sequels. And now that like originally I wouldn't say that last season, I'd be like, no, this is its own thing. But this season has been so much doubling down on stuff from the games, stuff from Aftermath, stuff from like the new canon novels, and like with Snoke and the Snoke pickle jars and all that stuff.
Yeah, and then like even bringing in like Ahsoka and go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say it's all leading to that unknown region stuff that Thrawn knows in my head. Like the only way they got there is because of Thrawn. So like the First Order's creation is integral to Thrawn somehow. Yeah, because they did. So like that has to happen, I guess, at one point.
Yeah, because they did confirm that we're gonna get the First Order origins in The Mandalorian. And I think,
it's not like I don't think it'll end with like, and here's the First Order. Like, I think that'd be funny. But I think
that was like, go ahead.
I was gonna say maybe it ends with the Amaxines from Bloodline or something along, like not that far down the timeline, but like something along the lines of like the Amaxine warriors from Bloodlines, where it's like a paramilitary group that's like sort of a front for what's really going on out in the outskirts of the galaxy, and we'll go like, oh yeah, we know what that is. So, but we'll see.
Yeah, I could see something like that. Maybe, yeah, as you said, the Amaxine warriors. Yeah, I kind of remember them from Bloodline. I think they would be a nice addition to the show as well.
Yeah,
and I think with Thrawn, like I think he would be a good person to like behind the origins of the First Order. I think one of its
brilliant. So that's the best thing about him. He is probably the most capable villain. I think when I think about it, like he's so smart, and like literally he's almost unstoppable. Imagine if he could have the Force. I don't think the Empire would have ended. He's too smart.
Dude, what do you think they'll bring in the Salamiris, those creatures that have the Force bubbles? Do you think they could appear in any future content?
So personally, on my end, that was the only one thing that I remember bugging me about the one. Like it was too much of like a, nah, you can't touch me, which I guess would make sense from a biological standpoint, that some things would have a counteraction to some other natural phenomenon. Like, I get the point of it. But I felt it was a little strange for me, I guess. So I wouldn't like it. It'd be interesting to see Thrawn maybe come up with something not organic to counteract maybe some Force stuff. I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, because then there's like in Rebels, where he has his little office. Does Thrawn have like those statues of the Salamiri, like those lizard-looking creatures in? Yeah, like they just put it there as a nod to it.
I think, yeah, you're right. Yep, it's right behind him.
Yeah, because
he's framed with one on each side of his shoulders.
Yeah, that thing, like where he has those little Salamiri creatures and all. And then,
interesting. All right, so yeah, you know what? There probably will be if he's in there and contending with Luke. And who knows if my theory about Moff Gideon having a hair of Force sensitivity, maybe he has those with him at all times too, just in general. I have this like weird idea that maybe Gideon, while being like subservient to Thrawn, is like also trying to usurp him.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I wonder, like, if that's the thing. And did Eckhart's Ladder put out some video about Thrawn, Gideon working for Thrawn?
I think you did. I missed that one. The only one I watched was the lightsaber one recently. But yeah, he was saying like I think he was positing that like it makes logical sense for him to be serving somebody higher up, and the only conclusion would be Thrawn since he's already been named. The question is like, how is he back in the galaxy, and what does that mean? AKA Ahsoka show. You know, so
what is
because
it is confusing. If he is back. How long after Rebels is this now? Is this 15 or no 20, 29 years?
Rebels.
Let's see.
This is 9. Oh wait, this is 9 ABY.
Because
it's like 5-6 years after Rebels or something.
Yeah, because Rebel. Yeah, go ahead.
I thought Rebels ended when Luke was like 10 years old. Am I wrong? Was it not that early?
Rebels ended with there's the ending, but the series ending was like pretty much just before Rogue One, but then the ending was like
after Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, the sort of epilogue with Ahsoka.
Yeah, and then because I think season 1 is about 5 years. I think the first 2 seasons is about 5 years before A New Hope, and then season 3 and 4 is kind of getting closer to it. Rogue One and A New Hope.
I had such a different time frame that I thought that was. I was like, oh, this must be like 10 years after Revenge of the Sith or something. But then that would place them in the same timeline as Solo, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah, because I think Solo is about that time, and then I think. Yeah, because Solo is almost you could say at the halfway point to A New Hope, and then Rebels is more at that, probably the more than halfway point to closer.
Another good reason why I should rewatch the series ASAP to remember the timeline. Well, here's a weird, maybe dark question. Let's say Thrawn's back, and we're wondering about what we could bring in, and I mentioned Sabaoth. Imagine if they use Ezra in a role like that, he's been twisted. And Ahsoka needs to get him back to normal. You know what I mean? Imagine that. He's almost the new Inquisitori for Thrawn.
Oh yeah, that would be kind of something. Yeah, if you don't,
I think a lot of people would be pissed off, but I'd be like, "Ooh, this is interesting."
Yeah, I think it would. I know, as you said, I think it. Yeah, as you say, it might have people scratching their heads, but it could be a solid twist.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for casual fans, I always think things like that would be like, oh, cool, it's like a dark side guy. But then for people like us, would be like, well, wait, how did he get there and why? So then now we probably need another 10 books in a comic series to explain that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Because I feel because Mandalorian, I felt brought in a lot of casual fans to watch Star Wars TV. And now I think now more with Ahsoka and Bo-Katan, it's going to get more of them to watch the Clone Wars and Rebels.
Oh yeah, actually, I think I heard that was starting to climb back up in streaming again in terms of viewership again. Because once Ahsoka dropped, people were like, "Oh, I got to learn about this." It's kind of cool. So
yeah, I've been convincing people to watch the Clone Wars and Rebels as well because of all the
once they do, they're like, "Thank you." You just got to get through the first couple of episodes, I feel and then you're you get into the groove. And then once you get to the end, you're just depressed because it's so intense.
Yeah, because I feel with the Clone Wars, it's kind of important to watch Ahsoka's journey. Then you'll see her in Rebels, and then they'll learn because they'll even learn about who knows who else they're gonna put in from the animation in all these future shows. I mean. Maybe because I wouldn't be surprised if Sabine appears in live action, and probably Ezra, so that will get them more into it.
Yeah, I feel a lot of that stuff's going to happen. The other question I have too is will Eli pop up? Is he going to be back from if I remember correctly, Eli Vanto Did he return from his like little excursion with the Chiss?
Can't
I don't
remember.
I
Yeah,
don't
I'd
know.
need
I'm
to
not a
reread.
fan, so
Well, because I figure at some point he's got to return to his homeboy Thrawn and be like, "All right, I'm here to help you,
Yeah.
buddy." So that'd be cool to see him come back, even though he's not EU. But
Yeah. Yeah, even from the current Thrawn. They could even bring in characters from the newer Thrawn trilogy we got. You know, from the one from the Thrawn 2017, Thrawn Alliances, and Thrawn Treason. They could incorporate elements into future mediums there. And then they can even incorporate from like Ascendancy and then the other of this, the other two of this new trilogy.
Honestly, I feel like for the most part, like most of the new Thrawn canon in the prior, there is some things that are contradictory, and like the Clone Wars are way different in general and all that kind of stuff. But I almost feel like there's so much stuff from both that could just still work in tandem.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still essentially the same exact guy. He has the same style of warfare, if you will, the art of war, literally.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, like, what else would I want to see? Like, for me, it's always about disturbing things regarding the Empire. Like, I want to see like messed up stuff. That's why I really like Episode 2 in The Mandalorian with the spiders, and it's like super weird, pulpy, and like even creepy Palpatine and Dross. Like, for whatever as strange as that movie was for me, like every time I saw Palpatine, I was like, yes, like give me weird stuff like this. So yeah, I guess I'm just leaning towards whatever the strangest aspects of the EU Thrawn was, just bring them in. Because it'll offset to, I think it'll offset a bit of the more Star Trekky nature of the show sometimes, where it's like it's kind of just people versus people all the time. It feels like half the time, where I'd like it to be more like just let's get into the weird Star Wars stuff. I think with the Blue Admiral Thrawn and potentially Islamari and Psycho Jedi, that could be exactly what I'm looking for. So
yeah, like bringing that, maybe as you said, like the Ezra one could maybe work, making Ezra all psycho, and then who knows, they could bring in Sabayoth as well.
Imagine, I'd be okay with that. There are cloners, so
as
I mean,
we know,
what was the Jedi that Darth Vader stole? That he bled the Kyber from? What was that dude's name?
I forget. It's some older. Yeah, it was like some guy with white hair and a beard.
Yeah, like he just cosmetically looks like Sabayoth. They just cloned him. Like Dr. Pershing's like, did it. All right, we're good.
Like maybe they could use that guy maybe, or just make up a completely new character. I mean, it doesn't have to be an established character.
Yeah, at this point they're doing it so well anyways that like I think we just like it regardless of what they did.
Yeah,
I like legit have like almost no issues with the Mandalorian.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I
mean, I think now it's building up. I think we'll see a lot more because I feel like Grogu was like a huge focus of Mando.
Yeah,
but I think they're getting out of their comfort zone more and showing a lot more. Like more broader stuff.
Yeah, it's funny because Filoni and Favreau, I think, were on record saying like season 2 like explodes open or something like that. He's like we like season 1 was little and we're testing the waters, and this one just like blows it all wide open, which like they literally did. Like I feel like they went everywhere. Which at first I don't know if you watched any of my stuff about being worried about it. But I was like, oh, it could get weird because, like, if they go too far with everything else, what about Din? But I never felt that way at all in season 2. And if anything, it was like we were Din, like traveling with Grogu, trying to experience what the galaxy is like. Because he's almost like, even though he's a bounty hunter, he's like so naive, kind of in a lot of ways.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I always think I always said like Mandalorian, like season 2, I felt like got the Rebels effect, like because I usually compare this to like how Rebels was structured, because Rebels had it established its core characters, the Ghost Crew, I mean,
Yep.
the Mandalorian, in season 1 establishes Din and Grogu.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, season 1 had a few movie-only characters. I mean, you had obviously Darth Vader in a few, and Tarkin in Rebel season 1. Then you
was
had
Darth
Lando
Vader,
in an episode.
I can't remember. Was Darth Vader added in season 1 though?
A little.
A cameo or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a
like right in the
little bit.
beginning. There's like 2 versions of that opening, that season opener for 1, and there's like one where like Vader talks to the Grand Inquisitor. He's like,
Yes.
"You will get the children of the Force," and then like in the one that aired, it just starts with Ezra, and I was like, "Wait, what?" I remember that, but then once he came into the fold in season 2, I was like, "Oh man, the show's good." So
Yeah.
another kind of Clone Wars. It takes like a little bit to kind of roll with it.
Because that's the thing. I feel like with the Clone, when you compare all the Star Wars TV shows, I feel like the Clone Wars is the one that uses most of the movie characters.
Oh yeah, big time.
And then I feel
it's like a movie itself. It's you know what, the Clone Wars might be. And sometimes I feel like it's the best Star Wars.
Yeah.
But then I go up and down with everything all the time. It's just such a good story. Well, if you watch in chronological order, it's just so well done.
Yeah, I've been doing, Clone Wars, like rewatching the episodes in chronological order and reviewing them on my channel.
Yeah, it's super fun, dude. Like, I feel like everybody loves always watching reviews of the Clone Wars. They're like, yeah, like whatever it is. I feel like I could do a video on the Umbara episodes every day, and probably everybody would enjoy it for the next 5 years.
Yeah, true. And then that's the thing with a lot of the TV shows. That's the thing. What was another? Was I gonna? That's the thing. I feel like I was comparing Rebels to the Mandalorian. With Rebels, because even in season 1, you had a Lando cameo as well. So you had a few movie characters thrown in there. And Bail Organa even made an appearance in a Rebels episode.
I think it was all like the OGs besides Luke and Han, right?
Yeah,
it was like,
and Chewbacca.
We didn't get Chewbacca. It was like Leia. I thought that we saw. Why am I blanking? Of course, I'm blanking on her name right now. Wow, Return of the Jedi, white gown.
Mothma.
Yeah, I was like Moss eyes. You know when that happens when you can see the word but you just can't reach it.
Yeah,
so
it's like
sometimes I thought we saw her and Lando, right? So the 3 of them.
Yeah, Lando was in some Sabacc episode.
I remember that episode being a little wonky for me, but then again, season 1. So I'm pretty sure that was season 1. But
I think it was the puffer page.
I'm trying to think what other things from Thrawn right now could even be in the Ahsoka stuff. Let's say the Mandalorian season 3 is literally only about the leader of Mandalore, and that's the whole focus.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think how if this is all going to go to one big crescendo in all of these shows, and Thrawn's in the Mando and in Ahsoka and stuff, and we have what I presume to be the story of Din's hero's arc finally in season 3 of maybe uniting Mandalorian somehow.
Yeah.
My guess is the way Thrawn could come back into the folds, and this might be EU stuff, and maybe this is, or maybe this only happened with Rebels, but he has extensive knowledge of facing Mandalorians, right? So another thing that could come back is we just get a lot of the original displays of him being a tactician and looking at art, and I really want to see more of that stuff from Thrawn, of him being surrounded by Mandalorian relics again and stuff like that. That aspect of his character would be very interesting to see if they're going down this route of the main dude that everybody's going to be contending with will be Thrawn, and Gideon's the red herring. I guess.
Yeah.
At least that's what it feels like, maybe.
Yeah, I kind of get that.
Yeah, I could see Gideon in some pawn for Thrawn.
Yeah, well, the other thing too is he was willing to kill himself in the last episode. So, I mean, I would too if Luke was probably going to take me out. But I don't know. I was like, wait a second. I don't know. I think he's kind of a red herring at this point. Who knows?
Yeah, I think Gideon could bite the dust at some point, and Thrawn is going to be the main villain.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he gets huxed.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like Thrawn's like just has him before him, and he's like says something that you think is like good job, still kills him anyways.
Like how Pride killed Hux in Rise of Skywalker.
Exactly, just something that's like so unceremonious that we're like, whoa. Like, I mean, technically Thrawn isn't like that isn't necessarily like how he handles things. But then again, there's like that one scene, and I remember from Rebels where he has the guy on the speeder bike test it until he explodes.
Oh yeah, and then there's this one he kind of grabs the Imperial officer and kind of gives him a mean look.
Oh yeah, I mean, red eyes and a blue face. I'd probably poop my pants too.
Yeah, and also what's the other one? Oh crap, trying to think. And then I wonder if him probably or if Thrawn will like kill Gideon, like kind of interrogate him for his failure or something, and then shoot him.
Yeah, like that's what I like the Empire the most sometimes. When it's like when we get to those, you know that they're all trying to be the next big palpy dude, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like there's only a few that can really be that guy. And one of those guys is Thrawn, right? So I love the power struggles. That was the best part, I think, or one of the best parts of Rogue One. So I think having that come back like this would be so cool. And just to see somebody that's been so intense for the last 2 seasons be put in their place by Thrawn, like somebody that's very superior to him, probably even taught him how to be a good tactician to a certain degree. It'd be pretty cool to see him just be like, "You're done," kind of, in a more vicious way.
And then he just shoots him.
Yeah, blows him out the airlock.
Oh yeah, and another like Imperial. I mean, what about Pelion? What do you think? Do you think he survived Rebels?
Because they left it kind of ambiguous. So, like, I think there's the possibility of Pelion. What if they make Pelion do his dirty work? So, like, he's the one who's going to dispatch Gideon.
Oh yeah, that would be a good one as well. And
I have no thoughts on it. I mean, I'm not against it. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah. And what about? I mean, I know Grand Admiral Ray Sloan isn't a Legends character, but she. I mean, what about her in future projects along with Thrawn?
Well, you guys talk about that first. Let me catch myself up to speed on that one. Oh yeah. Ray Sloan.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, she was in the Aftermath book and all, but I wonder if like maybe she has a connect, could be into play.
That would actually make a lot of sense because they are mining the Aftermath trilogy a little bit right now.
Yeah,
I totally forgot. So truth be told, I never liked the Aftermath trilogy when I first read it. So now I'm finally reading it, along with Into the Void.
Okay.
It was funny because like I'm not a big fan of Chuck Wendig's writing. It's just tough to get through. But now I'm like, oh yeah, this is Ray Sloan. Because I used to like remember I'd cheat and just read the wiki pages way back in the day. I'm not gonna read this book. But yeah, this makes sense. I honestly, as long as they bring these characters in a way that like, just like in season 2, if they bring this stuff in, I think it's gonna work really well. They just have to be like super laid back about it, kind of. Because the thing about The Mandalorian is that it's wicked simple. If you think about it, it seems big and epic and like all these crazy things are going on. But at its core, like season 2 was just a guy going places. You could literally just describe it as that. Like a guy brings his kid somewhere so that way he can get picked up and go to school. Along the way, he has to fight people. So they keep it simple where like they don't dive so heavy into like a character. So yeah, like bringing these people in just to be like wink nods for deep fans of the new canon and like the other things for the EU Legends, like it not only is it going to help the Mandalorian and also Star Wars fandom in general. I think it just makes sense just to like bring all these stories and really connect them as they promised. Like the show is this is the platform to do it. So but yeah, Ray Sloan, I would say. So just reading this now and thinking about it without knowing too much from the books, I would say it would make sense. I mean, she is canonically around at this point, isn't she? Just doing her thing.
Yeah. And then I think she's in the squad. She's also in the Squadrons game, which takes place after Return of the Jedi in this.
Oh, I stopped
timeline.
playing that. I was so bad at it. I was like, well, I have no time to play because I'm always like doing stuff with my kids, obviously.
Yeah, I took a hiatus from it. Like at one level, I was like
4 hours into it, and I was like, wow, I should probably get a stick because like playing this with a controller is so hard. I tried to set it to so it was some gamer channel that was like doing all the settings. It might have been Bombastic, or no, it was Twisted Jedi. And he was talking about like the best settings for the game, and I set it to that, and I was like even worse. So I was like, I give up. I'm gonna go back to JFO.
Yeah, that was the thing with it. Like, I was like, playing. I know there was this one level that was just so hard. That was so frustrating. Like, because it's that one you have to like. I don't know the best way to describe it. You have to like shoot this thing. Yeah, I haven't finished it yet. I feel like
it's probably. I think the one you're probably thinking of. I love how we're talking about Squadrons right now. By the way, I think the one you're thinking of is when you have to finally get a hole in one of the starships and the Star Destroyers to like.
It's when you're on the Empire side.
Oh, okay. Because the one in like the first few hours of the first like hour of the game that made me like go literally like F-bomb every 10 seconds, like like losing it. It was just this attack on a Star Destroyer where like you just have to expose a part of the ship so you can go in there. But you have to hit all these other points first, and you have to hit a tracker to make sure you hit it. And like I'm doing everything it's telling me, and it just wasn't working. I think I died like 500 times. And I was like, all right, it's not worth it. I might have a heart attack playing this game.
Yeah. No, because Ray Sloan does appear in that game as
well. Yeah,
she does. Because I feel like she's been in some mediums, because she first appeared in the first New Canon book, A New Dawn, which is the Kanan and Hera book. Then she's in the Kanan comics, the Aftermath trilogy, and I think also, and the Squadrons game, top of my head. I wonder if she can make that, jump into TV, because she's a very big new canon character.
I would say it makes sense. And the other thing too is these are all mocapped from actors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't this most of these sculpts are real people from what I'm looking at? So it wouldn't be. I feel like it wouldn't be too jarring for people that like have extensive knowledge of that character. Like for me, I haven't read the Kanan novel. What is it called again? Is it
A New Dawn?
Or A New Dawn? Yeah.
Yeah, it's by John Jackson Miller, the guy who wrote Kenobi. It's kind of how Kanan met Hera and all. But yeah,
Kenobi's a good book.
Yeah, it's a good one as well. Yeah, it's like the one, and then there's this, and also in one of the Kanan comics, Sloane makes an appearance, and I think she would be a good addition to the Mandalorian as well, and possibly working with Thrawn as well.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like, season 2 is building up these Imperial remnants in a very satisfying way for me, because, as I said, I love the Empire. I know a lot of people are like, "Can we just move past this period?" And I'm like, no. I'm like, I like it. It still needs to be mined. I still need to know more. But they did it so well with I don't know what the lieutenant's name is, but the female lieutenant that is right underneath Moff Gideon. Like we could have another thing like that with Ray Sloane with Thrawn. So,
oh yeah, that'd be good.
I can't remember. Everybody was like, it's gonna be Sabine, that admiral or whatever she was. I didn't see her.
And she looked nothing like Sabine.
No, she didn't. That's why I was like, man, people are having a tough time thinking of up ideas this month. So they're like, she's Sabine.
It's like people are just out of juice with their theories, because they've done this now for 5 years.
Oh, dude,
theories.
That happens to me now all the time. I'm just like, I'm not so happy that we're talking about Star Wars right now, because now I have ideas happening in my head. But before that, I'm like, what am I going to talk about this week? Like, and I have a list of things, but it's like, it's really hard. It's everybody too. It's funny. Like I talk with some of the dudes and the Star Wars tubes, like you guys, everybody else, Blue Bantha, and everybody's just like, what do we talk about right now?
I know
we're in a big waiting period.
I know. That's
So,
why I'm doing. That's why I'm doing this Clone Wars chronology review, just for something to do on my
yeah, dude.
channel.
Yeah, you know what's cool about that? If you like with those things too, the reason I love them when people do them is like everybody has like a fun thing they have an angle on that like nobody else has an angle on. Like maybe if I reviewed it, I might just like focus on like the animation quality and like different episodes or something, and then somebody else latches on to something else, and like it's just cool to see all this stuff through lenses of like other Star Wars fans, because like it's blown my mind since I started doing this how many specific things people are into about Star Wars. Like I never knew that there was like a ship fandom. I never knew it, and
Like,
like people
yeah.
are obsessed with ships, and I'm like, that's crazy. I never thought about that, and like now I know so much about ships that I never thought I would like know. Like 3 years ago, I'm like, wow, like this is crazy. So like, it's just so interesting to me. Just it's funny. Like it's hard to figure out what to talk about. Then at the same time, there's so much stuff to actually talk about because of like, you know, one guy's like, I'm going to break down how a Star Destroyer works, and you're like, holy crap,
Yeah.
how do you know that?
Yeah, you got like I know it's like you got like Eckhart's Ladder, who does a lot
So
of. He does
smart.
he like yeah, like Eckhart's. He's very knowledgeable on a lot of ship and combat stuff, and then even Star Wars Explained is pretty good on stuff as well. Like he knows lore and all that, and
Yeah,
from both
I will say like
timelines.
it's no shade to SWE or anything. I love that channel. I do gravitate towards Eck for some reason because it's I don't know why. He's just a funny dude. The way he like delivers content, I love it. But what I love about his stuff is it's unscripted.
Yeah, like
All of it. Like he just
yeah.
goes for it. He knows what he wants to talk about. He bangs it out, and he's done.
Wait, Eck is
Yeah, that's-
unscripted?
Yes,
No way.
You-
I don't believe that.
he told
I
me. I
gotta-
talked to him a lot. He's
Yeah.
not scripted.
Holy
He's like
crap.
he knows so much about what he wants to talk about. I think what he said is like he'll just take his time in between a sentence if he has to like make sure it comes out or just go back and redo it.
Oh really?
But he knows what he wants to talk about before he even sits down in front of the mic. The biggest thing he spends his time on, I think he said, was like a thumbnail and a title.
Damn.
Oh yeah.
I was like, man,
have you ever had
super smart.
interactions with Star Wars Explained?
Yeah, you're very, very nice, dude.
Yeah.
I've talked to a few guys. The only person I think I've like never talked to, and probably won't now at this point, is Star Wars Theory. Like
Yeah.
I don't hate his content at all. I think he does great stuff. I've liked his videos before. Now it's just kind of like I don't want to be part of that thing that happens.
Yeah.
So
True. Like
I'm
how
focusing on Star Wars rather than like fans of Star Wars, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
like I liked the. I mean, Theory seems like a nice guy and stuff, but I just think he went in with the wrong crowd.
So we should probably
Yeah,
Yeah.
he must know who those people are, and you know whatever. So
Yeah,
I get that it's their job to do those kinds of controversial videos,
yeah.
but man, it's just for me that I just want to focus on Star Wars and not like
Same here.
just and not the war.
Yeah, that's
outside
what
of
I'm
it.
like. I
It's-
just want to do actual Star Wars content, and not get too carried away in the drama.
Yeah, we're talking about Thrawn, and like I want us to be like, yeah, we're super pumped about Thrawn without somebody being like, can't you guys get over that, like, period, and like want this other thing? And I'm like, all right, just relax. We
Yeah.
all like things, and like I don't have the
True.
energy anymore.
I think we got a little too sidetracked as well.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I've been meaning to bring this up, but like I didn't want to interrupt because it's like really great. But like, you know how Book of Boba Fett is all about? Well, we don't know what it's about, but he's essentially taking over Jabba's palace.
hmm
Well, like there's
Yeah.
a subplot for the Thrawn trilogy with like Talon Card collecting all the big smugglers and having them all work together in this like one big union thing. So do you think Boba Fett's doing something similar where he's going to try to not really build a criminal empire, but like he's going to start collecting bounty hunters, smugglers, and create this sort of network of people? And it's not like he's going to do like terrible things like Jabba, but like he's going to be on the more shadier side of the New Republic, kind of like Talon Card.
Hmm. Yeah,
I
that'd be a
mean,
nice idea.
yeah, I feel like they're definitely going for sure the Syndicate route, which makes me hope for Crimson Dawn to pop up somehow. You're like, or like not Crimson Dawn. I mean, like whatever it has turned into, I guess at this point. But I guess my worry if it goes to classic, maybe old school Boba crime lord thing, is I really liking him this season in terms of like him almost kind of having this new honor to him, which I thought was very random but very welcomed. I was like, oh, weird. Like I had no reverence for this character because I never read his legend stuff. Beyond like I loved him in Empire Strikes Back, and he was just kind of a body for Luke to like kind of get wrapped up in for a second in Return of the Jedi. And then Mando comes around and I'm like, holy crap. I love this guy. He smashes people with his gaffy stick like a boss, and like I don't know, there's just something about him in this season that made him seem like just a pure badass, and like B, a sort of reformed Boba Fett of honor.
Yeah,
like he just willfully helped the child in Din. So, well, it would be cool to see him running syndicates or like trying to do something like that. My only worry is like, oh, if it goes so dark, like, will it make me look at the Mandalorian and what he's done in season 2 a little differently? I don't know. Could be overthinking it then, but then again, we're Star Wars fans, so
yeah, that's the thing. I think, like, I feel like Ned. I think like his legend stuff, made it more worth why people like him so much, and then I think the Mandalorian did the same as well.
Oh, like getting people into Mandalorian like EU based.
Yeah, more like also why, and also